Hi, this is Dr. Robert Young, and
Mhm.
I am here speaking with Maria. Is that correct? Marie?
That's correct. Yes,
Yes,
Maria. Yeah.
Maria. She lives across the pond.
Yeah. Good old Wimbledon, London.
Yeah, she lives in one of my favorite cities, Wimbledon,
Yeah,
the
no,
the the home of the one of the Grand Prix tennis tournaments, the Wimbledon
that's
Open.
that's right.
And
Just up the road.
yeah, I hope they play.
That would be good, wouldn't
They
it?
were closed last year, but this year maybe they'll be able to return. That would be nice. I know that it's very difficult right now in the UK and some of the politics that are going on with the COVID thing, and I really feel bad about that. It's quite extreme what they're doing. That's all I can say.
Very, very. I think the general feeling now is that people have had enough. It's
Yeah,
just gone on long enough, and to be shut down and closed in for this
yeah.
length of time is just crazy. We're actually in childcare as well, so we have nursery schools and a school.
Hmm.
Thankfully, they're all open. So in some ways, we're able to have some normality in that, we're still going
Well,
out to
that's
work, we're still running a business, but
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah,
mm,
I know that a lot of businesses suffered and some prospered. So I guess it depended on what type of business and the
yeah.
creativity and just the
Mm,
wherewithal to continue. But yeah, with schools, they're still trying to figure out how to open up the schools here in the US. But here
right.
again,
Yeah.
more important things is about what we can do. About that is very little, but we can take care of ourselves and protect ourselves, and that's where it needs to begin. Each one
Mhm.
needs to really look at their own health, fitness, uh,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
protect themselves as much as possible, because it is, as I've said before many times, it is your body, your life, and your choice.
Mm.
And I understand that you have a condition, Marie, called Barrett's uh, esophagus,
That's right. Yep. Yep.
which is associated with acid reflux and GERD. And
Yes.
I'm just curious, how are you handling this right now, and what is your current status with that particular condition?
Okay. I have been monitored for roughly 7 years, I think.
Hmm.
And I have endoscopies every 2 years to see where the status is, whether there's any deterioration or improvement.
Hmm.
I take a omeprazole,
Okay.
which is PPP, is it? That I think they're
It's
called in.
a proton inhibitor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I take 20 milligrams daily. I have just recently been back and had an endoscopy within the last 2 months. I saw a different consultant who gave me
Mm-hmm.
a different opinion on how he saw it. He felt that one side of the esophagus had improved, but
Mm-hmm.
the other side of the esophagus was showing almost little fingers coming up the side, little red lines where there was
Mm-hmm.
some acidity impact. Um, it's he's very happy that there is no deterioration and there's
Well, that's
no
good news.
yep,
Yeah.
no nasty cells there. So
Yeah.
it's not cancerous, but obviously it's something that has to be monitored. So
Mm-hmm.
he's actually suggesting I don't need to go back for another 3 to 5 years. Um, how do I manage
Yeah,
what I do?
I'm surprised at that, considering you're on a proton inhibitor, which I don't know if you understand how that drug works, but it shuts down the cover cells from producing sodium bicarbonate, which causes interstitial fluid acidosis as well as vascular acidosis.
Right.
And so this can lead to leukemia and to other organ or gland cancers. The purpose of the stomach is not to create acidity. to digest food. The purpose of the stomach is to alkalize the food by producing sodium bicarbonate. So when you take a proton inhibitor, you shut down that whole process. Okay, yes, you cut the hydrochloric acid, which is a waste product of sodium bicarbonate, but then you set yourself up for risk of not being able to maintain the delicate pH balance of the other body fluids, the vascular fluids, the interstitial fluids, and the intracellular fluids. So I'm not surprised that you have some interstitial inflammation of the esophagus that can only be reversed through an alkaline approach. From my perspective and what I've seen in the past. So the question is here again, how is that done? And so many years ago, I developed a product called Four Salts, and the Four Salts really addresses a supportive mechanism to support the stomach in its major purpose as one of the major organs that provide immunity. And the way it does that is it produces alkalinity to protect the cells from membranes from deterioration and from genetic mutation. So if it can't do that, then of course that's the risk that you run. So pushing this out, for 3 to 5 years, where you're showing some inflammation, because inflammation is stage 4 acidosis. Stage 5 is induration, which you would have to be tested for. Induration is the an example would be the creation of sclerotic plaque or stones, this type of thing. So you may not know that there may be stones in your kidneys or breast or lungs or in the blood, but these things are being created as a result of trying to protect the environment. When the environment is the body fluids. So to protect that, you simply support the stomach and what it already is designed to do, and that's to provide alkalinity for the body. That's its main purpose, for the body fluids and to alkalize the food that you eat. So many people have found great relief. In fact, most of the over-the-counter that's sold at Boots or Walmart or Ritz, Rite Aid, or these different drugstores is something like Alka-Seltzer Gold. I don't know if
you're familiar. Yep.
Well, Alka-Seltzer Gold is one of the major ingredients of sodium bicarbonate. The problem is it contains some other acidic ingredients as a buffer, which to the chemical reactions of when you start taking sodium bicarbonate, it interacts with the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and then it causes an eruption. It's a chemical reaction. Some of the side effects would be a hiccup. It would be burp, or more, let's say, severe reaction would be you would throw up.
Right. Yeah.
And none of that's bad, and none of that's harmful. It's just the body trying to get rid of the acid that is sitting in the gastric pits of the stomach. So the best way to do this is to make a conscious decision to change your diet and move more towards an alkalarian diet, not a vegetarian or vegan diet, but alkalarian vegan, I guess you would call it, where you cut out beef, chicken, pork, and fish, and eggs. And I know that things like trifles and what else do
the goodies?
All the goodies, yeah, that the stomach has to secrete alkalinity on to neutralize the acid of that food. That's one of the other purposes of the stomach, is to raise the pH of the food so it can be biologically transformed into stem cells. Now, if it can't do that, then it creates, inferior, or not, as far as quantity of blood, it's reduced, and quality of blood is also reduced. And so, I mean, we can do this by mail, is to send you a live and dry blood testing kit where you would prepare the slides there with instruction how to do that, send it back so that I can view it to see what the state of the blood is. But the state, if you're not looking at the blood, it's hard to really know what's happening to the blood, because you can test it
Right.
qualitatively, which is what the live blood is to actually see the anatomy of the blood, see the anatomy of the white blood cells, not just count them. Oh, you have so many red blood cells, you have so many white blood cells. So that's a way that you can monitor the progress. Also we have some in London there, and I'm not sure, London's a big area,
Yeah,
but his name is Malcolm, and he has product in England, and he can
right,
help. His wife was one of my patients, and is now a 20 plus year survivor of breast cancer. So
right.
she's been on the program for 20 years. But so some of these things that I might recommend too, like four salts, is already there in your backyard.
Okay.
I mean, we
Okay,
can
that's
ship
good to
these to you, which is not a
Yeah.
problem. But then of course you pay duty and what have you.
Yes. Okay.
So but he has some of this availability uh
Mhm.
to help. Plus he knows the program. His wife has successfully reversed her cancer condition. It's a breast cancer condition, and she's been now in remission for many, many years.
Right. Right.
So
That's good to hear. Yeah.
yeah. So what you want to avoid with Barrett's esophagus is not just the destruction of the esophagus, but esophageal cancer.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my fear.
Okay, that's a real risk.
Mm.
And you have to offset that by reducing acidic loads. And you do that with the four salts.
Okay.
Okay. But you
Yeah.
can't, you can take the four salts, you can take the proton inhibitors, but eventually you'll find that you won't need them, because you don't want to shut off the faucet. If you make changes in your diet, then you're going to create less hydrochloric acid. If you're taking the four salts, you're already dealing with it.
Mm.
Okay. You're already
Yeah.
buffering it. Therefore, shutting down the cover cells of the stomach doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
And there's a risk to that. The very drug you're taking causes cancer.
Mm-hmm. And the consultant that I saw today, he had the concerns of me being on that long term. He said, I'm concerned for you to keep taking that. It's not good for you. My diet is relatively healthy. I have a
Well,
whole plant.
tell me about it. Yeah.
Okay, I don't eat meat, any meat.
Okay.
I do
Great.
very little dairy,
Great.
very little. Eggs I do occasionally. Fish
Mhm.
I do occasionally. Mainly plant-based. Mainly a plant-based diet that I have. Um, I think even so, how he has described the condition to me is the valve that I have between the stomach and the esophagus has almost completely gone. So that
Yeah, so
there's no.
that allows so you want to go on a low acid diet.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yeah,
eggs would not be part of that diet.
mm, yeah,
Okay,
to stop
and
them.
and dairy would not be part of that product.
Yeah,
I mean, but you have substitutes. I mean, so you have almond milk, you have hazelnut
yeah,
milk, you have macadamia, and those are things that I don't necessarily eat a lot of. But once in a while, I'll have let's say an oatmeal or buckwheat, and put some almond milk on that. But it's
mm,
not something that I do eat on a regular basis. The other thing is you want to start building healthy blood, because the healthy blood can restore the lining of the esophagus, the lining of the stomach.
yeah,
Because all of those cells, all these body cells, are actually made from blood. So bone, muscle. So here you want to increase the amount of green food in your diet.
yeah,
And in chapter 5 of the pH Miracle Revised and Updated book, it talks about the 4 food groups: chlorophyll, oil, water, and salt. So you increase all the foods that are high in chlorophyll. You increase all the foods that are high in mono or polyunsaturated oils. You start drinking alkaline water,
Yeah.
and you can create that by putting in pH drops, or you can create it by an ionization alkalization machine, or not a great idea, but you can probably get some at the store. But that's not the best way to make
Yeah.
your water. The next thing is just the salts, and we already talked about the 4 salts, flavor salts. So you're off sugar and salts. You're going more towards a savory alkaline diet rather than an acidic sweet diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's in your book? You talk about bicarbonate of soda.
Yeah, that's sodium bicarbonate.
Yeah. So I've been taking that.
Good.
Only over the last, since reading your book, so I've stopped taking the omeprazole
Oh,
for the
good.
last 3 days, and I have bought pH drops
Good.
along with the bicarb,
Okay.
and I'm really watching what I'm eating. The pH drops, I think it said you can even put them in tea and coffee to alkalize
Well,
teas and stuff.
yeah, I would change probably the tea, because I know it's tradition, to have tea time, and
Mm,
tea time is generally uh, black tea, and black tea contains tannic acid.
yeah,
Tannic acid is very, very hard on the esophagus and the stomach, and
right,
the duodenum and the intestinal villi. So I would substitute it, in a pinch, as they would say in England. In a pinch, I would do green tea, or even better, I would just do things like ginger or turmeric teas or chamomile teas. Or a really good one is peppermint tea, and
right.
substitute out black tea. For coffee, I would just eliminate it completely if you're drinking it,
Okay, okay, including decaf.
including decaf. Yeah,
Fine.
yeah,
It's interesting with the black tea because that's my drink. So
yeah.
that's really good to know.
Yeah, the black
To
tea has a pH of about 1.5 to
right.
2. It's more, you're better off drinking coffee than you are black tea.
Okay.
But
Okay.
black tea is very caustic. It's very hard on the linings of the protective linings of our
Mm,
esophagus, our stomach, what have you. So yeah, so you really that's probably one of the things that I know for England is tradition. I get it, Gray's tea.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, my tea, but
No
there's some,
tea. Yeah. But
but
I am good with alternatives too. I'm very good with peppermints and lemon and gingers. I'm very good with all
lemon
of
and
them.
ginger, turmeric. I mean, we
Mm,
have a combination turmeric ginger tea, which is a juice tea, which is kind of
right.
unique. It's not pulverized. A lot of people don't get this, but it's not pulverized leaves. Okay. And then
Okay.
you
Yeah.
and then you steep those in hot water. Okay.
Right.
It's actually,
Hmm.
we take the turmeric, we take the ginger, and I juice it. And then I do a water extraction and create a powder. And so we end up with a pure juice
Nice.
powder. So we're talking about turmeric ginger tea. You just have warm water, which, I mean, it can be cold or
Hmm.
warm, not too hot. And then you put, you don't even use a bag. You just put it in, stir it up, and drink it. That's your tea.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But and I can get that, can I?
Yeah, yeah. It's a product offered by phmiracleproducts.com. It's
Okay.
it's called iJuice turmeric tea. Um, and if you can drink it straight. I don't know how you drink your black tea, if you drink it straight or if you add a creamer to it,
Yeah.
or
No. 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 Straight black tea.
straight. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you'll love the
Yeah.
ginger turmeric tea.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
very,
That's
very,
good.
very healthy, and those are two very, very powerful antioxidants.
Hmm.
You
And
know,
what do you think on fruits?
well, I love fruit. How anyone you know would probably say the same thing. Fresh fruit, of course. The fruit that I particularly enjoy are avocados.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can eat
Yeah.
all the avocados you want. Another fruit that I really enjoy, which I had to learn to enjoy, but I really do now, is cucumber with salt and olive oil.
Okay. Okay.
The other fruit I really enjoy are heirloom tomatoes. I don't know if they grow those in England
I
or
haven't
not.
heard of them. Yeah, I haven't
Eh,
heard, but
Well, I just bought 4 of them this morning. They're
okay.
purple heirloom tomatoes. The reason I like them is because they're called, I think in England they probably call them beefy tomatoes.
We have beef. Yes.
Okay, they're
Yeah.
more like beefy tomatoes, but they're not red tomatoes. They're either orange or they're yellow, or
Mm-hmm.
you can also they also have purple, but purple heirloom or beefy tomatoes. But that's what they are. They're like they have the they have their texture is more like beef.
That it's interesting because I trained macrobiotically
Okay.
probably about 10 years ago now. And I have got a plant-based whole food cafe in Wimbledon.
Well,
So
good for you. That is exciting. You're going to
I'm
have to invite me over to Wimbledon, but I don't.
yes, yeah.
But the thing is, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to come back to England because they're
Oh,
going
we
because of
will.
mandated passport vaccines.
Yeah. Yes. No. If it happens, I don't think it will. Do you?
Well, I mean, the guys that are pushing it are the ones that are making it, the
Yeah, yeah.
billionaires.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, hopefully not. I know a few places are opening up and they're not requiring you to have the vaccine. So fingers crossed that that's not going to be something moving forward.
I hope not. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, off that subject,
Yeah. So,
y-
so just talking macrobiotically, so one of the reasons that I opened the cafe was exactly for my condition. One of the reasons I trained macrobiotically was to get
mhm.
to understand food. It certainly has been a lot better than what it was. But
Good.
what I'd like to do is to get rid of it completely if I can. But macrobiotically, I would be advised not to have tomatoes because they would be seen to be quite an acidic fruit.
Well, here again, since you have your own business, you understand ledger sheets of debits and credits
Mm,
and keeping a ledger of that. And it's kind of like those anyone that has a bank account, they make deposits and they make withdrawals.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you have this pH scale that goes from 0 to 14. Now, here's another fruit that I like, but it's the same type of comparison to tomato. It's lemon or limes. Okay, so lemons and limes and grapefruits and tomatoes on as a in the analogy of using a bank account. Those fruits make they're electron donating fruits. In other words, they make alkaline contributions to your alkaline bank account.
Right. Hmm.
Apples, oranges, pears, and bananas make a withdrawal. Okay, so they're more acidic residues in apples, oranges, and pears, and bananas, and pineapples, which is on my highly acidic list,
Right.
than
Right.
tomato. So there's some misinformation with macrobiotics and misinterpretation. So when you look at lemons have a pH of about 3.5 to 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, tomatoes are about the same. Heirlooms may be closer to 3.5 to 4, where limes and lemons may be down between 3 to 3.5. But the net effect of that is it actually contributes more hydroxyl ions than more hydrogen ions. Now, the pH scale, that's what the pH scale is. It
Hmm.
measures the concentration of hydrogen, H positive.
Okay.
And anything, and as you go from 0 up, you're actually increasing more electrons or hydroxyl ions, even though they consider 7 being the midpoint. Anything below 7 is acidic. Anything above 7 is alkaline. That's an oversimplification. What we really
Hmm.
want to
Hmm.
look at food, what foods contribute energy in the form of electrons and make a credit to your account, a contribution of hydroxyl ions, are which ones steal from your body.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So in the category of tomatoes, lemons, limes, and grapefruit, these are low sugar fruit. They make hydroxyl ion or electron contributions, thus are energy contributing products rather than energy using products.
Mm-hmm.
When you eat it, that's why when you eat a lot of fruit, you can feel tired after it, just as you do with meat. And the reason why is because with a pineapple, the stomach has to activate and secrete more alkalinity to neutralize the acids of that pineapple or that apple.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I get that.
Okay. For example, bananas are 25% sugar. So that's going to activate the alkaline buffering system. If it doesn't, then it's going to make a negative, it'll have a negative effect on the interstitial fluids, which will affect not just your esophagus, it'll affect your brain, it'll affect your circulation, vascular fluids for circulation. So it makes cells sticky,
right?
Blood cells, and they can't flow freely into the pulmonary system to dump carbon dioxide or pick up oxygen. So these high sugar fruits affect your body circulation, affect the pH, and steal energy from your body.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I would say not to go overboard with any of these things, but be conservative as you introduce them back into your diet. But you can drink lemon water.
Yes, I'm doing that actually.
Okay, that doesn't raise your blood sugars.
Okay.
And it doesn't pull energy or electrons from your body energy supply. Okay, so you can even put some salt. So I had lemon water this morning. So I took an alkaline pH water of about a 10. I put lemon in it. Okay, and then I added salt back into it. Now, when I say salt, I'm talking about real salt. I'm talking about
pink
Himalayan, or I'm talking about the Great Salt Lake salt, the flavor salt, which is a liquid salt. But see, you can add salt, lemon to your water, which is also very nice.
I think also we looked at the pH water machine. Whether we buy that or not.
Are you talking about the Watermark one?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that alkalizes the water?
Yeah, there's two of them. One is non-electric and the other one's electric.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure either one, but what would be the better one for me?
Well, the one I use and the water I drink from is the Watermark one, and it's less money.
Right.
And it doesn't have titanium, platinum coated titanium plates in it. It works under the natural laws of hydropressure. So it creates hydrostatic pressure that creates electricity, creates the breaking apart of the molecular clustering that takes place in tap water. But it has pre-filter systems to take out all the impurities. So it takes out fluoride, takes out chlorine, it takes out antibiotics or whatever's in the water, nuclear radiation. So you're filtrating out that. So as a multi-stage filtration, and then it adds back in some alkaline elements, and then under pressure in a vortex, kind of like when you flush the toilet, it pushes a greater volume of water into a smaller opening, for it to go through, it creates static electricity, and it also creates pressure that breaks these water molecules apart. So it creates a molecular water that creates more surface area, that thus creates more surface charge. So it raises the pH, increases the more surface area, it creates a wetter water so it can permeate the cell membrane.
Okay, all right, we'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
Can I ask, in the work that you do, have you ever had anyone with Barrett's esophagus or something similar where there has been a cure rate or there has been a cure?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Not just Barrett's or GERD or acid reflux or all the way up to esophageal cancer, which
Right.
which has really no protocol for treatment, successful treatment. Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
yeah, one of my patients, uh, 18 years in remission from esophageal cancer.
Right. Right. Because the treatment that my consultant has spoken about would be to almost band the esophagus, to sort of band the Barrett's part of the esophagus.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke about, which is quite extreme surgery, and it's something that I don't really want to consider.
I mean,
Along with,
that's if you continue on an acidic lifestyle and diet. You don't have
yeah,
to do that on this type of a program.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It's reassuring because
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I think about every day, that I just want to be able. How long do you think on the program it may take to reverse some of the symptoms?
The symptoms will reverse as you change and hyperperfuse alkalinity into the blood, which then pushes it into the interstitial fluids, which then pushes it out throughout, into the interstitium, pushes it out to all the organs and glands. And you can monitor that by testing the urine pH and making sure you're keeping the urine pH up above 7.8. Healing takes place at 8.4. So ideally, you want to be between 8.4 to 9 pH on the interstitial fluids. Now,
Right.
in order to test the interstitial fluids, you have to test your urine. And the best time to test is in the morning. So in the morning, you can test throughout the day, but you keep kind of a log. So you're getting kind of a reading. But anytime the pH drops below that 7.2, ideally 7.8 or less, you take 1 scoop of the salt, you put it into a small glass of distilled purified water, and you drink that to force the pH up.
Yes, because when I do the testing now, and I hover around 7 to 7.5. Yesterday I was on salt waters all day, drinking bicarb before every meal. I was following your book, actually.
Okay.
And I stayed with soups yesterday, green soups all day.
How did you feel?
I felt good. But I had an amazingly massive headache from withdrawals of coffee and tea and
That's
everything else.
the coffee headache. Yeah, that takes a couple of weeks to get over.
Yeah, it's better today. It is better today. It's a lot
Yeah.
better than it was.
Well, that's surprising because generally that headache can go on for several days.
Right. Well, I had it for 2 days, and today seems, although I haven't had much time to think about it, so that probably is something else.
That's the obstacle, the addiction to coffee, and then the coffee headache that comes from that. Yeah, but you can improve that situation by taking 500 milligrams of niacinamide, and that will help. But then monitoring the pH and keeping the pH up, and then anytime that you have a craving for coffee, you take a spritz of the flavor salt, and then you drink some water with that. And what that will do will give you a shot of energy, because usually coffee cravings come out of the need of something, and generally that need of something is, I need a wake up call. I need more energy, so I need a kick to get through the day, and the kick should come from salt, not from caffeine.
Right. Yeah.
Or sugar. Yeah.
And I noticed that my caffeine intake has got bigger and bigger and bigger. Having the cafe, I know now the coffee is really lovely in there, and I'll say, oh, I'll have another coffee. I'll have another coffee, and that has increased. So, yeah, I really need to
So
take
that
control.
will, yeah, that will affect and the inflammation. Inflammation is, like I say, stage 4 acidosis, and it's caused by interstitial fluid acidosis, the fluids around the cells that make up the esophagus. So so the coffee's not going to help pH.
No,
Yeah.
no. What do you think of things like chai lattes or turmeric lattes with oat milk?
Yeah, see, I mean, you could do the same thing with the ginger turmeric. I mean, we're talking about the juice. I mean, those things would be okay with the oat milk or the almond milk as a substitute for, I mean, because the biggest thing is not only just the tradition, that warming feeling, because England is so damp and cold in the
Yeah,
wintertime.
yeah.
You just pray for spring to happen. And then you go, okay, I think I can live here for the rest of my life as long as I
Yes.
have
Yeah,
spring.
it's lovely. Yeah, things change. Things look a bit brighter. Okay, so I need to really
Yeah,
get
the
a grip,
turmeric and the
don't I?
ginger teas. Yeah, if you want to use oat milk, that's fine. An organic, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the wheatgrass shots.
You can have all that you want. You can also get the iJuice chlorophyll, which is a 100-to-1 concentration of chlorophyll from the leaf, mulberry leaf, and you just take I mean, we're talking about a pigeon, a little,
Tiny.
I don't know if you've seen the scoop, but it's like 250 milligrams.
Right.
And you just put that into your water. You put that, and that cleans and purifies, and also will help build your hemoglobin.
Okay.
So that's something that's good to do. So the
Mm-hmm.
wheatgrass is even better if you dilute it with distilled water, add some pH drops, and then drink 6 to 8 ounces
Okay.
of diluted wheatgrass that's raised up in pH by using the prime pH or the purified drops to raise the pH of that water. So that's really a great technique. But in addition to that, if you dilute it, you just take some of the iJuice mulberry leaf chlorophyll, put that into the water, and all of a sudden, in fact, I was in an Italian restaurant and I said, wow, I've never seen broccoli dark green like this. I mean, it's green, but there's variation in color with broccoli. And then the spinach came out, and I was looking at the spinach and I'm going, I've never seen dark green leaf spinach. And I never asked I didn't ask but I knew what they were doing. They were using food coloring.
Oh,
And I
gosh.
know, because of the high quality of the restaurant, I know the food coloring was not unnatural. They were using chlorophyll, and because I would have tasted that. And I was thinking, gee, this tastes like chlorophyll.
Right.
Chlorophyll broccoli. So you can take the mulberry leaf. We have a spinach leaf broccoli. And I was thinking, what a great thing. And then I was thinking about this hydroxychloroquine. I don't know if you know about that over-the-counter drug. You can get that. It raises the pH. The quinine pushes in the alkaline components of that over-the-counter drug, raises the pH of the intracellular fluids. But you can, the chlorophyll is so wonderful. You can use it in your water. You can use it, to brighten and put more chlorophyll in with your spinach and broccoli.
Yeah.
It'll turn everything dark green.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what a great use to brighten, and even make the broccoli that you're eating more concentrated.
That's a really good thought, actually. So that's just super greens, really, just using the super greens.
Now, super greens is a little bit different. Super greens is is a pulverized. So what I do there is I take wheatgrass and barley grass. I mean, I have a oat grass too, straw grass, dog grass, etc., kamut grass. But what I do is I dehydrate those grasses, and
Right.
then I pulverize them.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's a titrated powder, and
Right.
then I run it through a filtration, so I don't have large particulates. With the iJuice chlorophyll, what I do there, or the iJuice super greens, what I do is I juice the grasses or I juice the leaves, and then once I have the components of, let's say, the mulberry leaf, I then chlorophyll, I then extract the water. And so you actually end up
Right.
with a concentrate. A little bit different. Both are great. Super greens I developed in the 80s, and been using it. People around the world have been using it for years, but it's great.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason I like the super greens is because I like the peppermint leaf.
Okay. Okay.
So that's really a calmative to the stomach. So it's very nice. So you can put that in your water. You can put one little scoop of the chlorophyll in, and you can put the pH drops, and you can drink that all day long.
With sorry, I've got lots of different questions, but we have all of the superfoods now, like the acai berry. Are those too acidic for me?
Acai, here again, depends on how it's developed. I mean, if you're just talking about, the fruit itself, and eating that, or if you're talking about titrated powder, or if you're talking about the juice, if you're talking
It's
about
more the powder.
more the powder, I don't see any problem adding that. It just, if they haven't added any other ingredients to it,
Right.
you'd
Yeah.
have to look at the other ingredients and see if
Yeah.
they've added, glycerin, or they've added some other preservative like magnesium stearate, et cetera, et cetera. Then I'm going, okay, yeah, is it pure powder of acai? Now, I have an iJuice banana. I have an iJuice goji berry. I have an iJuice chokeberry. I have an iJuice raspberry. I have all the different fruit. And what I did was, which is, I'm telling you this because you have a restaurant or a. Well, the reason I'm saying this is because I'll take the blackberry, I'll juice it, and then dehydrate off and create a powder. And as I'm taking off the water, I'm losing the sugar. So what I have is I have the essence of sweetness as a memory. Yeah. But I've actually reduced the level or the acid loads of that because any alcohol or any, dehydration, any of the sugar that's part of that will actually come off through the water extraction process. And we end up with this powder. So a lot of folks are buying the iJuice fruits, because they like to add them to their teas. So they add iJuice banana, or they'll add iJuice mango, or iJuice coconut, or iJuice raspberry or blueberry, and I don't do much of that, but you could do the same thing with acai. But yours is, yeah. I don't have. That's one of them I haven't done, but I've done the goji berry.
Right. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so those are available that you can use as teas. So you can have a banana mango tea. I don't know if that would be good or not, but yeah, I mean, you can have a goji tea.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. And another question. I'm guessing now alcohol is a no-no.
Well, it depends on what your outcomes are here. Here again, any increased amounts of alcohol is going to create increased inflammation and activation of the
Hmm.
alkaline buffering system. So it will activate the stomach. In your case, prior to going off your proton inhibitor, the stomach needs to be activated again. It's been suppressed. Hopefully, it'll start working for
Hmm.
you. Yeah, but for celebrations and things like that, in moderation. But every day, no, that's not good for you.
No, no. And I'm guessing my drink would be a gin and tonic. I'm not a wine person because that's far too
That's
acidic.
good because wine is not good for you. Yeah, that's
No,
just going to irritate.
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to irritate the esophagus and also the stomach and the duodenum, and create
Hmm.
foreshortening of the intestinal villi. Yeah, wine is not good. Vodka is better than wine.
Right. Gin?
Gin is better than wine. Yeah.
Yeah, good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, gin and tonic is my drink, and I'm not a big drinker, but I do if I go out or celebrations, I like to have a drink.
Yeah,
Um,
with bubbly water, carbonated water, that type of thing, tonic water, carbon, you know, is carbonation is a problem for causing inflammation. So like
right.
I like I say, that's you have to
Okay.
think about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just think. Okay. So the mixer is probably more problem than
It's
the
is
actual
equally
spoon.
as a problem. Yeah, I just
Mm.
wanted to mention that.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
g-
good to know.
yeah.
That's good to know. So really, it's looking for me to go more on a green veggie diet.
It's a green plant-based alkaline diet, which includes all of the alkalizing vegetables and fruit and seeds and nuts, and mainly those are in a pureed state, or a juice state, or
Hmm.
for so the recipes, like the soups, the shakes, and for detoxing would be juices, shakes, and soups, and then salads with lots of oils, uh, and then just reduce your sugar loads,
Yeah.
and other contributing factors that can increase inflammation. Yeah.
Mm. Rices.
Rice, I would substitute rice for buckwheat.
Okay. Okay.
So buckwheat is a seed, when it's cooked like rice. Uh, the texture is very similar, but you're better off with buckwheat as a low carbohydrate
Hmm.
than rice, which would be it should be a high carbohydrate.
Higher. Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm guessing the same with potatoes and
Yeah, I
stuff.
love them. You just have to limit them. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I've got some work to do. And as I said, I trained.
yeah,
I know most of it. It's the discipline that I need to probably work on as well for myself.
yeah. Well, it's if you're aware of it, at least you can make a conscious decision about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say, well, am I going to do this? Am I going to jump off the alkaline wagon, so to speak,
Mm.
and do I call them a human experiment, a
Yes.
scientific human experiment. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
going to, with acid. So you just have to
It's
decide which acid you want to choose.
yeah. Okay. The consultant that I met with this morning, I said to him that I was looking at doing. He specializes in Barrett's, and I
Hmm.
said to him, I'm looking at doing the alkalizing diet.
Hmm.
In hopes of reducing the acidity. So he's very interested and wants
Hmm.
me to keep in touch with how things go, and yeah, for his studies, he as I said, that's his area of
Yeah, it's
speciality.
yeah, it's a low acid diet.
Mm,
And then it's more specific of the whole food rather than the components of the food. So, yes, bananas have potassium, but no, they have high sugar, which negates any benefits of the potassium.
mm,
So
mm.
it's an acid contributor. It's not an
Yeah,
alkaline contributor. So it steals electrons. It doesn't donate electrons.
Right.
So
Yeah.
bananas are not as black tea is, as coffee. They're not electron donor type
Mm,
foods.
yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
inflammatory foods. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I get that. So I'll start to discipline myself. And if I want to look at the products that you've spoken about, I just go onto the website.
Yes, you can
Is that right?
go there. It's phmiracleproducts.com. You can look at the iJuice product. The iJuice product that I mentioned was the iJuice chlorophyll. I mentioned the iJuice super greens, but I also mentioned some of the other fruits. We have iJuice cucumber, but these are things just to make it easier for people, to throw something into water or to
Mm-hmm.
support their shakes. Like, oh, I want more kale, so we have an iJuice kale. So I'd like to put kale into my smoothie. I'd
Right.
like to put
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
chlorophyll into my smoothie. The smoothie is based upon, you know, English cucumbers, avocado, and let's say organic almond or macadamia or oat milk, and then I want to add some kale in there. Okay, well
Mm-hmm.
I can add organic kale, or I can add again organic iJuice kale. So, but I definitely want to put some four salts maybe in there. I'd like to put in some iJuice chlorophyll. Maybe a
Yeah.
couple of scoops of the greens. Who knows? Oh, by the way, you can put spinach in there, spinach leaves, kale leaves.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
And you spoke about being able to get the four salts over here.
yeah, they're already there. Yeah.
Yep.
What I'll do is I have your email. I'll send you his contact information, so
Great.
you
Yeah.
can contact him directly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think for the purposes of time and convenience, yeah, his name is Mehmet. I think I
Okay.
mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I said somebody else, but Malcolm, but that's a different person. But the person I'm thinking of here, which would be best for you, his name is Mehmet, and
Great.
he's very amiable guy. So
Yeah.
he'll be happy to provide some help and advice for
Great.
you.
That's good. He doesn't stock the iJuice.
He
That has
might,
to be
I really don't know what he buys because I don't keep
right.
track. I
Right.
don't run,
Okay.
I don't run the company. So
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if he doesn't, but I think the IG's chlorophyll he probably has. I know he has the super greens only
Great. So if I have,
because as he calls as a friend, he'll say, yeah, I'm still drinking the greens. So
yeah, great. That would be good to have his details. Might even be something we have in the cafe when we reopen.
yeah. When do
Yeah.
you think that's going to happen? Soon or?
Well, we can open for takeaway, but it's just not financially viable, which is the
Hmm.
reason we made the decision not to reopen. But I think maybe March. So
Oh,
we are
I
still,
sure hope so.
yeah, we're supported with all of the furlough and no business rates and things like that.
Hmm.
So it's comfortable to stay closed,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
would be nice to reopen, hopefully in March. Yeah, and it's vegan. It's mainly vegan,
Great.
plant-based. Yeah, so it's new and growing. Hopefully,
Are you doing avocado toast?
yes, yes,
Okay.
that's a biggie. So it's mainly vegan. When we
Hmm.
first opened, it was completely vegan.
Hmm.
We found that we didn't capture enough people, so
Hmm.
we added at that time we added chicken, salmon, and egg.
Hmm.
We have removed the chicken completely now, and
Good.
you can have smoked salmon and egg. But even that, it's tiny amount of people order it. So it's great to see that that's the way we're all moving as well. I think, isn't it?
I think it's wonderful. Yeah, people will be healthier. They'll live not
Yeah.
only better but longer. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
No, I don't think so. I think it is now about me and my discipline, really.
Well, yeah, it's you get some coaching and then you take that
Mm,
and implement it and of course I already know what the results are. they're always good if you implement these changes, and
Yes, yeah,
you'll see the benefits of that.
that's great. And you'll send me the Zoom
I
recording.
will. Yeah, I'm going to
That's
send that.
lovely.
I'm going to send that to you. I'll send you some
Yeah,
I'll send you some additional links that you can access directly.
mhm,
But yes, maybe just some recommendations from reading, or I'll also include a copy attachment of the foods that you can eat freely and the foods you should eliminate.
great.
So
That's really good.
it's a chart of alkaline foods and a chart of acidic foods.
Lovely. I really appreciate that. That's really good. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, all the
Thank
best.
you so much.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
And I'm jealous that I'm not in Wimbledon, but
Maybe this year or maybe next year when the tennis is back
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Hopefully.
I have fond memories of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful place. We're very, very blessed to be living here. It's a really beautiful place.
Yeah, and the Queen hangs out there once in a while too, over in Windsor.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah, not far from here.
Yeah. How old is she, by the way? Is
The
she
Queen.
94, 95, 96, 97?
I think she's 90. I'm not sure. I think she's 96. But
96, yeah.
don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah,
she's doing very well.
yeah, she's well preserved.
And Prince Charles has gone in. No, Prince Philip has gone into hospital today. It's just been on the news. He's not doing too well at the moment, which
Yeah,
is
he needs to contact me.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much
All
for your
right, all the
time.
best and take care, and
yeah,
look forward to talking to you again soon and
you
hearing
will
about
do.
all your great success.
Yes, thank you so
All the
much. Thank
best,
you.
and cheerio,
Take
pep
care.
pep.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.